10 years ago, a little girl named Lily vanished without a trace from her home in a small town in the middle of nowhere. Her mother, Sarah, searched high and low, but there was no sign of her daughter. The police investigated, but they couldn't find any clues either. It was as if Lily had simply disappeared off the face of the earth. For 10 long years, Sarah lived with the anguish of not knowing what happened to her beloved daughter. She moved away from the town where Lily disappeared, unable to bear the constant reminders of her loss. She tried to move on with her life, but the pain never went away. Then one day, Sarah was watching TV when a news story caught her attention. The anchor was talking about a young girl who had been found wandering the streets of a nearby city. The girl's name was Lily, and she matched the description of Sarah's missing daughter. Sarah couldn't believe her eyes. Could it really be Lily after all these years? She frantically called the station, but they couldn't give her any more information. All they could tell her was that Lily had been taken to a hospital for evaluation. Sarah raced to the hospital, her heart pounding in her chest. When she arrived, she was ushered into a small room where a young girl sat waiting for her. It was Lily, all right, but she looked different. She was older, of course, but there was something else too. She seemed distant, as if she was somewhere else entirely. Sarah threw her arms around her daughter, tears streaming down her face. "Lily, my sweet Lily," she cried. "You're home." But Lily didn't respond. She just stared blankly ahead, as if she didn't even recognize her own mother. Sarah was devastated. What had happened to her daughter? What had she been through all these years? The doctors ran tests on Lily, but they couldn't find anything physically wrong with her. They suggested that she might have suffered some sort of trauma, but they couldn't say for sure. Sarah took Lily home with her, hoping that being back in familiar surroundings would help her daughter remember who she was. But it wasn't that simple. Lily was withdrawn and uncommunicative. She seemed to be in her own world, disconnected from everything and everyone around her. Sarah tried to reach out to her daughter, but she didn't know how to break through the wall that had formed between them. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Sarah didn't give up hope, but it was getting harder and harder to believe that Lily would ever be the same happy, bubbly child she had been before she disappeared. Then one day, something miraculous happened. Sarah was in the kitchen when she heard a sound that made her heart skip a beat. It was Lily's voice, singing a song that Sarah used to sing to her when she was a baby. Sarah rushed to the living room, where Lily was sitting on the floor, surrounded by toys. She was singing softly to herself, and when she saw her mother, she smiled. "Mommy," she said, and Sarah felt like she was going to burst with joy. From that moment on, things started to change. Lily began to open up, talking more and engaging with the world around her. Sarah took her to therapy, and together they worked through the trauma that Lily had suffered. It wasn't easy, but Sarah never gave up. She was determined to help her daughter heal, no matter what it took. And little by little, Lily started to come back to her. She was still different, of course, but she was also still the same little girl who Sarah had loved so much all those years ago. The experience changed Sarah too. She had been consumed by grief and despair for so long that she had forgotten what it was like to feel hope. But seeing Lily start to recover gave her a new sense of purpose. She started volunteering at a local missing children's organization, determined to help other families who were going through what she had experienced. As the months passed, Lily continued to make progress. She went back to school and made friends, and even started to enjoy some of the things she had liked before she disappeared. Sarah was proud of her daughter's resilience, and grateful for every moment they spent together. But there were still unanswered questions. Where had Lily been for all those years? Who had taken her, and why? The police reopened the investigation, but they didn't find any new leads. It was as if Lily's disappearance had been erased from the world, only to be returned to her mother 10 years later. Sarah didn't dwell on the past, though. She focused on the present, and on helping her daughter build a new future. Together they created new memories and forged a bond stronger than ever. And although the pain of Lily's disappearance would never fully go away, Sarah knew that they had come through it together. She was grateful for every moment they had and vowed to cherish each one, no matter what the future held.